Ascension of the Father of Jesus. August 12, 2016. Natalie. This channeling came about through observing a painting in the Temple of Minerva in Assisi, Italy. I received a message that Joseph, the father of Jesus, wanted to share with me and others who wish to listen, his memories of his ascension from the earth. Here is his story. Joseph. It is a great honor to be in your presence, to share the space that light brings and creates with you. For some time, I have been wishing to share some information concerning my experience of ascension as Joseph, the father of Jesus, upon the earth. While your ascension, when it dawns, may not be the same as mine due to the process of ascension shifting and altering upon the earth now, I hope it will offer you some inspiration as well as enhancing our connection and communication. The story of my ascension may also support your greater understanding of my family and the journey and adventure we embarked upon at that time. After the crucifixion, resurrection, ascension of my beloved Jesus, Mariana, who you know to be Mother Mary, and I, had been guided to slowly make our way to England. Our destination was to be Glastonbury. We had been told by our guides, souls, and the Creator that we were to go to the Druid community in Glastonbury and share some time with them. Not only would they offer us shelter for a few years, we were told that the daughter of Jesus and Mary Magdalene would later join this community, and so we had to prepare the community for the arrival of Sa after her 18th birthday. We had much information to share with the community as well as the wealth of teachings bestowed upon us from our beloved Jesus. New energetic shifts were occurring upon the earth and within humanity which we wished to alert the community about. We were told that the community would support us in our own healing journeys as well as offering protection. Mariana and I began our journey very soon after the ascension of Jesus. We parted with Mary Magdalene and Sa in Egypt, as we had different journeys to make which would lead to the same destination and a reunion of our hearts and energy. Mariana and I traveled with some friends, however the majority of our group were children aged 3 to 19. The oldest of 19, you may say, was not really a child. In our eyes and in those precarious times, she was a child, a sweet, innocent and extremely sensitive child of the light. Her destiny was also to be in Glastonbury, and she supported us in caring for the 10 other children we traveled with. Some of these children were born from my union with Mariana after the birth of Jesus, while others we had adopted from the Essence community as their parents had died. Each child I recognized as my own, and knew we had a meaningful journey at that time. As 10 years after the ascension of beloved Jesus approached, we found ourselves in an area of Greece, close to the seashore. It was around this time that Jesus came to visit me often in his light body. He began to share with me his own memories and experiences of his ascension. I was familiar with ascension. I had observed many, including my son, ascend into the light from the earth. It was not a new concept for me. I had been preparing for my ascension my whole life. Jesus' memories of his own ascension offered me comfort as I knew my own ascension was approaching. He reminded me of certain practices and prayers as well as the order in which I should achieve them. I shared with Mariana and the children the visits I received from Jesus, as well as the numerous visits I received from the archangels. Ascension at that time meant that my soul would be released from my physical body, and so I would only be able to be with my family in energetic or light body form. This is not the same in the modern day. Ascension or achieving a high quotient of light can now be achieved without leaving the physical body. As you can probably imagine, Mariana and the children were extremely happy for me while also experiencing a strong emotion of not wanting me to leave them. I knew that a part of their journey and spiritual growth was to let me go, and for me to let them go, knowing them to be safe and protected by the Creator. As the days passed and we were guided to remain in Greece, I began to drift between being in my physical body and then exploring my energy or light body. While my physical body rested, in my light body I began to visit my children one by one, sharing precious time and wisdom with them. I visited Mary Magdalene and Sa, bathing in the light they were creating, and sharing my own with them. My light body travels took me to many places and people, sometimes to bring healing to my own being, sometimes to instigate planetary healing, and other times to awaken souls from my past into the light of the Creator. I did a lot of healing work with those who were involved in instigating and physically creating Jesus' crucifixion. There was much to be healed, and I took the opportunity to achieve this so that the generations to come would not be burdened with pain caused by those times. I spent a lot of time alone with Mariana, often in prayer together or going over everything she would have to achieve in my absence in Glastonbury. Sometimes we would just shed tears together as our soul and heart connection was intensely strong. We were releasing our fears of being separated as well as exploring the joy created by the knowingness we were always one. These were sad but somewhat blissful times for our family as our connection with each other grew stronger with each day that passed. As my ascension grew closer, I found myself sitting for great lengths of time, light pouring into my mind. At times I would be completely engaged in exploring the light which seemed both within me and around me. I was aware that my family would join me and sit sometimes from sunrise to sunset with me. I felt their love embracing and supporting me as I unified myself with the Creator. On a few occasions I would surprise them and begin to deliver words from the light. Quickly these words of wisdom flowed from my mouth, inspiring and guiding my family into the light with me. We all benefited from those days bathed in the light of the Creator. We were being prepared for our destiny, our purpose. For my family that purpose was upon the earth, for me it was in the heavens and inner planes of the Creator's universe, where my work would truly begin. With the increasing luminosity and the light radiating from within my physical body, becoming more and more physically manifested, we all knew it would soon be time for me to depart. One evening Mariana surprised me with a feast of food which many of the children helped her prepare. She said it was a feast in celebration of the love I had shared throughout my entire life. We ate like kings, danced joyfully, sang our favorite songs, and shared stories that made us both laugh and cry. We enjoyed each other's company with such glee that every soul felt they were suspended in a strong, unbreakable love. It had been my one request upon learning that I was to ascend. I wanted to leave my family knowing they were suspended in a love which would carry and guide them forth along their pathways. I knew the following years could be challenging for many of them as they faced the loss of my physical presence and their own ascension journey. The next morning my family awoke to find me motionless except for a soft, shallow breathing pattern which was barely noticeable. My body was ablaze with light, and they knew I had begun my transition from physical body into light body. They knew in this moment I was in a state of pure bliss and ecstasy and that soon I would no longer need my physical body. What they were not aware of was that I was able to observe my ascension while still being conscious of everything occurring around me. My beloved Jesus was at my side. Visible to my family as well, he guided them to scatter herbs, leaves, and flowers into a small boat. Jesus instructed them to anoint my body with our sacred and blessed oil. In my flesh and covered by a white cloth, I was placed into the boat, its length just enough for my body to lie flat. One by one they said their farewell to me, each expressed such a deep love that filled my heart and soul, supporting my ascension. Mariana, last to say her farewell to me, with tears flowing down her cheeks, she expressed her deep and eternal love for me. Then supported and instructed by Jesus, she pushed the boat into the sea where the gentle waves caught it and began to carry the boat away from her. My family observed the miracle that occurred next. Jesus in his light body appeared gently walking beside my boat, his back to the seashore, his golden light streaming in all directions. Lowering his light body, he reached his right hand into the boat. I remember his face, his eyes gazing upon me with such a depth of love and compassion. His beauty was mesmerizing. As I reached the fullness and climax of my light, I moved deeper into the light of the Creator to join my Son, hand in hand. My family witnessed me rising in my light body from the boat, and, walking hand in hand with my Son, away from the boat as if we were walking upon the water into the distant sun. They watched until they could see us no longer, and knew I had made my ascension. In peace and love always. Joseph, Father of Jesus. Channeled by Natalie Glasson. www.omna.org